Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, because, you need to remind people that this is a Fast and Furious spinoff, and for some reason it's presenting this movie. But whatever, I'm going to start off by talking about my history with these movies. The first one I saw and the second one I saw were Too Fast, Too Furious, and Tokyo Drift. So first off, I didn't really have a whole lot of connection to this, and then I finally saw Fast 8, Fate of the Furious, in theaters because I started reviewing movies, and basically that's my only experience with these movies. But when I saw Fate of the Furious, the only things that really caught my attention were The Rock and Jason Statham. So when they told me they were making their own movie, just the two of them, I'm like, sold. And when it was from the co-director of John Wick, and the director of Atomic Blonde and Deadpool 2, I'm like, okay. Has Idris Elba in it? Okay. I'm excited. And this is a big, dumb, fun movie. And that's exactly what I wanted. It has a lot of style. They do a lot of cool things with it. And there's one particular sequence where you're first introduced to these two characters, where you're watching their parallel days and the subtleties and their approaches to things, their lifestyles. It's really cool, and I really enjoyed it. Having a juxtaposition of The Rock working out at the gym, and the only thing that Jason Statham is pulling is a stall to get some alcohol. And I'm just like, yep, that sounds about right. And honestly, this film really lives or dies by their chemistry, and it's great. They have a lot of chemistry, they're a lot of fun together, their banter is great. And The Rock, I enjoyed the character of Hobbs, and then Jason Statham, I enjoy the character of Deckard Shaw, and they're fun together. The bigger picture of this film is, they're going up against this dark secret organization that's a dark secret organization, but somehow everybody in law enforcement knows about this dark secret organization. And Idris Elba is basically he turns out to be a grunt, and, he's basically a Terminator. They even make that joke in the movie. I'm like, at least you're self-aware. And honestly, if you've seen the trailers, you've seen every action set piece in this movie. Are these action set pieces ridiculous? Hell yeah. Is it enjoyable? Yeah, it's pretty enjoyable. But some of the dialogue's not the greatest. Some of it's really cheesy. And even some of The Rock and Jason Statham's dialogue's really cheesy. They're able to make it work. Not everybody does. Idris Elba is hamming it up throughout the whole entire movie. Some of the things he says are really stupid, and sometimes he makes it work, but honestly, there's not a whole lot to his character. I do really enjoy Vanessa Kirby, who is Deckard Shaw's sister, and this rogue MI6 agent, and she has a lot of charisma, and she has great chemistry with both The Rock and Jason Statham, and honestly, it's a lot of fun. And of course, it's his Fast and Furious movie, so everything's about family. Family for everything. And I appreciate what they're trying to do. There are some emotional moments. Do all the emotion moments hit really well? Not really. But is there a whole lot of logic going on in what's going on in the film? Probably not. There's a lot of plot holes. There's why would you set up this crazy elaborate thing? It's right out of a James Bond movie sometimes, and then it's in Austin Powers where it's I'm gonna hang you and I'm gonna have you eaten by sharks with laser beams attached to their heads, but we're gonna close the door and assume that this is gonna happen. And then Scott's just I'll go to my room, get a gun, and just shoot him. There's moments in this movie it's why don't you just shoot him? This would be so much easier if you just did that. But there's also some fantastic cameos in this movie, and I don't know if I want to spoil them, because honestly I didn't know they were in this movie. There's two really big actors in it, and they're a lot of fun. Honestly, this movie is just a ridiculous amount of fun. There's a lot of style to it, and it's a big dumb movie. And I would recommend it. It's goofy fun, and it's setting up a whole franchise of Hobbs and Shaw movies away from the rest of the Fast and Furious, which honestly means that I don't have to get excited about Fast and Furious movies, because honestly the only two characters I cared about were Hobbs and Shaw. But I do want to warn you, if you haven't seen the last season of Game of Thrones, this movie will spoil it all for you. Just to warn you, because it becomes like a running gag of conversation making fun of the last season of Game of Thrones. So if you haven't seen it, just warning you, it's going to get spoiled for you in this movie. Just a warning. But it's a fun movie. I would recommend it if you really need some high concept, thoughtful plots and characters in an action movie. You're not getting this with this. This is a big dumb movie, but it's a lot of fun and the action's cool. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think, and thank you as always for supporting your Wasteland reviewer.